Hello everyone and welcome back to another route guide video. Today we are on Southeastern High-Speed and we're going to be taking the class 465/9 from Raynham to Gravesend. Before we get into this, I'm going to ask all of you to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and consider becoming a channel member with the link in the description below. Now let's get the train set up first. So we have the platform to our right. We're just going to put the master key in, turn that to the on position, and put the reverser into the neutral position. We're then going to unlock our doors, press all release here. And we have a red signal ahead of us, so we're just going to press the DRA, the driver's reminders applicants, and that's supposed to be pressed whenever you're stopped at a red signal. Now let's get the rest of the train set up. We're going to turn regen brakes on. I like to turn the clipboard lights on since you're not supposed to turn the cab lights on while driving the train, as it interferes with like the way you see out the windows. We're just going to open our side windows to get a bit more air and sound in. And let's get our headlights on, turn that to day running, turn the DSD on, and we're going to turn the AWS on as well. Now when we turn the AWS on, we're going to have to acknowledge the AWS self-test sequence, which is going to set off the AWS alarm in the cab, and we're going to have to press the AWS acknowledge button by either pressing this button right here, the circle button on your PlayStation controller, the B button on your Xbox controller, or by pressing the Q key on your keyboard. So let's turn that on. We're going to acknowledge AWS, and now we have the train set up. Now we still have a red signal ahead of us, and we're due to depart the station in about 15 seconds. So here we go. We have a class 375 pulling into the station down there, so we're going to have to wait until that train departs the station in order for us to leave. Now I'm just going to speed this up a bit, and I'll see all of you when the train actually departs the station. Now, as you can see, that train has departed the station. Now we have to wait for the signal ahead of us to turn either yellow or green in order to depart. Now at this time, I'm going to put the reverser into the forward position, and we're going to wait. Now this train has a maximum speed of 75 miles per hour. Now we will get speed limits, like the one ahead of us will be a 90 speed limit, which will allow us to pass that 75-mile-an-hour threshold of the train, but we're not supposed to. If we have a speed limit like 90 or 80 or whatever, we have to keep the train at 75, as that is the maximum speed as written up here. But ahead of us we have a yellow signal. Now we're going to turn the DRA off. We're going to lock the doors. And now we're clear to depart the station and move on to our next station, which is Gillingham. Now we've just passed a 90-mile-an-hour speed board. However, we're going to wait to accelerate up to the new target speed, so we're just going to wait about 7 or 8 seconds for the back of the train to have passed the sign. Now, we've just gotten an AWS alarm for an upcoming 60-mile-an-hour speed limit reduction, and that new speed limit will go into effect in about 2 signals. Now, normally I would wait to apply the brakes until just before that second signal. However, since we've just gotten a double yellow signal because we're catching up to the train in front of us, I'm going to start slowing down earlier. And now we've just gotten another AWS alarm, this time for the single yellow signal ahead of us. So I'm just going to continue to reduce our speed since the next signal will be a red. Now, up ahead, we can see a red signal, so I'm just going to gently bring the train to a stop. Since the signal ahead of us is red, it means the train that was cleared ahead of us is stopped in the next station, so we're going to have to wait until they depart in order for the signal to clear. And now that we've come to a full stop, I'm just going to turn on the DRA, or Driver's Reminders applicants. This is to be used whenever you're stopped at a red signal. So the signal has just changed to a yellow aspect, so we're going to turn off the DRA and make our way into the next station, which is Gillingham. Coming into Gillingham, we can see a Class 395 Javelin on the opposite track, heading towards Faversham. Here, we want to just bring the train to the end of the platform and stop at the S marker there. Now that we've stopped in the correct position, we're just going to open the doors and load our passengers. Now exiting here out of Gillingham, we have a 60-mile-an-hour speed limit, although that will be going down to 50 at the end of the upcoming tunnel. As you can see, up here we have another yellow signal, and this is where the new 50-mile-an-hour speed limit would normally come into effect. Now, there is another speed reduction coming up, and it takes effect at the signal just before the tunnel up here. This new reduction is reducing the speed limit to 30 miles per hour, so we're just going to be ready for that here and start to lower our speed for it. As you can see, as we come up to the signals, they are changing from a single to a double yellow, meaning we are staying a good distance away from the train ahead. Now we're coming into Chatham station, and we want to just stop at the 8-car stop marker, just before that yellow thing there on the platform. Apologies for referring to it as such, however I am unsure what that thing actually is. Now, departing here out of Chatham, we still have a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit, so we're just going to keep the train in about notch 2 and 3 power so we don't accidentally start overspeeding. As we come out of the tunnel, we can see a double yellow signal, which has now changed to green, so we should be fine from here on out, as I think the train ahead of us was heading towards London Victoria via Beckenham Junction. Up here, these abandoned platforms are actually from the previous Rochester station, which closed in 2015. Our next stop is actually at the new Rochester station, which opened in that same year and was rebuilt closer to the town center, this time with 3 platforms. Up here at this station, we want to stop at the S marker at the end of the platform. Pulling out of Rochester, we still have a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit. However, as we cross the bridge up here, the speed limit will be going down to 20 and then again down to 15, as we'll be switching tracks. Now we've just passed the 20 board and we're starting to switch tracks, so I'm going to start reducing our speed again. We also have a 15-mile-an-hour speed limit that kicks up at this signal, so we're going to continue to reduce our speed to obey that speed limit. Now we're merging with the tracks to the left, which actually leads to the Bedway Valley line. At this station here, called Strood, we will be stopping near the end of the platform at the 8-car marker. Pulling out of Strood, we still have a 15-mile-an-hour speed limit, although that will be going up to 70 just as we get to the tunnel up here. Now we've just passed the speed board, where we're going to have to wait until the last car passes it as well, and that's going to take about 15 seconds, so we're just going to have to wait. And the last car has passed the sign, so we're going to accelerate up to the new speed limit of 70. Now, our next station, which is Higham, is directly after the end of the tunnel, so we're gonna have to pay attention for when that comes up. I like to start decelerating just before that signal there, and that way we can make a speedy entry into the station without overrunning the platform. Now, here at Higham, we're going to have to stop about a car's length past the 8-car marker, and that's because it's positioned incorrectly here. Stopping directly at the marker would leave the last car out of the platform, and I just don't see that being very realistic, so we're just going to pull up a bit further. Now, leaving Higham, we have the 70-mile-an-hour speed limit, so we're just going to accelerate up to that. Back there, I hit the horn because I felt like that lady was a bit too close to the platform edge. Just wanted to give her a bit of a warning. Up here, we have a couple of whistle boards, so I'm just going to give a 2-tone blast each time we get to one. Now we've just gone past a warning sign for a 50-mile-an-hour speed reduction, and I'm going to start lowering my speed at the next signal here. Now, that AWS alarm was for the next speed reduction, which will bring the speed limit down to 30. However, that reduction comes up in about half a mile, so we'll be just fine. Now, we want to start slowing down for the 30 when we get the alarm for the single yellow signal. We could have actually started slowing down at that signal, but I like to play it a bit safe. Now we're coming into our final station, which is Gravesend. There will be a red signal at the end of the platform, and we want to stop at the S marker just before that. And there we go. Let's get that DRA on and open the doors. Hopefully you enjoyed this route guide video on the Southeastern High-Speed route. I know I haven't uploaded very frequently in this last week, and that's mainly because I've kind of lost my interest in TSW. It's getting a bit boring for me, and I'm kind of finding it difficult to actually be invested in the game right now. But I wanted to make this video to teach all of you how to operate this route realistically. If you enjoyed this video and you do want to see more of this series, please hit the like button. If you are new and you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. Also, if you would like to support me even further, please consider becoming a channel member with the link in the description below or by clicking the blue join button. I'll catch all of you in the next video. Peace.